Joe and Hampton, lights dim, it's game time. Interview sharp, cut through like a shank line.
There's a stigma with depression and anxiety, right?
Okay.
A lot of people, they don't want to tell their family, right? They try to hide it best they can, but eventually it comes out, right? Coming to therapy, a lot of times people are like, I've never done therapy before. I'm really nervous. Like, I don't know what to talk about. It's like, well, just talk about you. What's going on right now that is causing you issues? You know, why can't you get out of bed?
Yeah.
Okay. Mind-body connection in terms of how do we stay present. So usually client always like, well, how do you do that? You practice it. So if you're doing something, if you're in the middle of the mall, if you're at home, and all of a sudden you notice that your thoughts are just kind of going elsewhere, you just say, hey, where am I and what am I doing? And that will help you come back to being present.
All right, Stick Lounge Podcast. How's everybody doing today? You hanging in there? I missed my board. Hold on. There we go. Got too much stuff going on. I actually was queued up for something else because I want to show you this.
Okay.
We're going to clip this one out because I want to put your intro before this. But, sorry, guys. We have to bring Dekel in to Dekel's music. And
Music. Music.
There you go.
here we go. I got to bounce boards again to Dekel's music. I took liberty here. Okay. Feel like I know you pretty well.
Yeah.
And you just tell me how this feels for you, okay?
Okay. All right.
Here we go.
Sometimes life can be tough.
Oh my God. Yes. This is awesome. I love
Deals
this.
you ahead, not ready for. It's gonna be rough.
This is.
Everyone needs a helping hand.
Let it build, bro. Let it
Oh
build.
my God. This is actually really good.
You know they'll understand. It's time for your positive awakening. Share your worries, your cares. Dekel is listening. It's time for your positive awakening. He's here to help you reach your dreams.
What do you think, man?
It's amazing.
That's your official song.
Like,
we
oh
got,
my
we're
God.
doing an entire series, one episode a month, so you had to have a song.
That is so cool.
Did I choose well?
Oh my yes.
Okay.
Who was that singer?
That's AI.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to meet her. I'm like, oh, geez.
No, I wish I had a band and a bunch of singers at my disposal, but what I do have is AI, and I'm getting pretty good at prompting things.
Oh my gosh.
That was such a good song.
Hey, you know what was really tricky was to get AI to say your name. And it's tough. It's in there. It said
Welcome to my
Dekel is
world.
yeah, right.
Right? Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
It says Dekel is listening, but it's like that's
Yeah.
a tough one.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. I love that. I'm gonna get like an earworm. I'm gonna be singing it all night.
Dude, so I've done several for the podcast and this one and some other ones, and you know you're redoing it, you're changing little things.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And I'll go to bed and I'm like, oh my God, stop, please. Like this
no.
one was in my head for like a week, dude.
Oh,
like a week. It was in my head.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right. Yeah.
All right, glad you like it. So
Yes.
again, guys, Positive Awakenings series. We're doing one a month. We have Dekel in the house, and Dekel, you brought Mwiche with you.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
All right. So Mwiche, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and just kind of.
Go ahead. Yeah,
Yes,
please.
yes. So my name is Mwiche Lupambo. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I have my own private practice, Lupambo Counseling Services.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And then give me all that info, and I'll put it up for everyone so they can find you as well. And you work the Seattle area, or
SeaTac area.
SeaTac?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can find me on Psychology Today. I do not have a website right now.
Okay.
I've been in the business for almost 6 years now, and I think the only search engine that I use is Psychology Today. So you can find me on Psychology Today if you want any of my details and my mode of therapy.
have you tried to Google yourself just to see what pops up?
No, oh my gosh, no.
Well, you said the only engine you use right now, and I'm like, I bet it's not. I bet it's not.
No, just like you don't like to listen to a voice, right? It's like,
Right.
okay, do I need to do it for myself? I wonder what will come up. You know,
right.
if I do it myself, like
You never know.
yeah,
You never
yeah,
know.
yeah. But maybe I'll try.
Just for fun sometimes.
Absolutely,
just for fun.
right? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So we're gonna dig in a little bit. I know Dekel wants to get in your backstory and everything, but we did say that we were gonna take comments, and we did get a couple.
Oh, cool. Okay.
No like major questions or anything as of yet, but these are comments from the last episode, so I wanted to pull these up. And I got another surprise for you.
Oh
man.
my gosh. Like this is an amazing day. It's like Christmas, right?
You got to have a comment song too.
Oh
So
my god,
let's see.
comment song.
In real time,
And,
right?
and I had to switch it up. We couldn't go with the same kind of
true,
style.
true.
So tell me what you think about this one.
Okay.
Into comments, into questions. If you ask us, then we listen. Get you answers, help you reason. It's your time to shine. Thanks for listening.
Are we good?
I love it.
You like it?
Oh my
Okay,
God.
cool.
It
cool.
feels like an opening to like a 70s sitcom.
That's
you
dude.
know?
I was going for a little ABBA theme a little bit. You know.
Oh, that is amazing.
I know you're pretty good. I know
Oh
you're
my
pretty
gosh.
good. All right, so I was crying when you're laughing.
Aw, aw.
You're like,
What song?
all right. So this is on TikTok, and when we went over the anxiety that everyone has right now, you know, around the stuff with ICE and everything that's going on, that was the clip that got the most attraction.
Okay.
So we got on TikTok. Yeah, it said, well, the title to the, let me just put this out. Title to the clip was "Anxiety is the number one issue right now. Political climate, ICE, you know, and if you're black and brown, you know, it's difficult." And Chase said on TikTok, yeah, the reoccurring theme is you're born, you're trained to work, and then you die, and that's it. So
Wow.
didn't really directly pertain to it.
Yeah,
I think his
yeah.
anxiety is coming from maybe just life as a whole. But Chase, thanks for the comment.
Yes.
And,
yes. Thank you, Chase.
Yeah.
I believe I replied, I didn't pull it up here, but I think I said, hey, man, hang in there. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, guys, if you want to get like actual comments from the licensed professionals, you're going to have to find their social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'll do my best, but I am not a doctor. And then over on Instagram, Annie Fisher says yes. So she just completely agrees. And you know Annie. We had Caroline B. She said, it's so extremely sad. Yeah, it is. It is sad what's going on right now. And then Speak Life with Ray. He said, it's a 50 to 60 year cycle. And then you repeat historical loops.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting out of this is, one, people agree, and two, they're a little down. You know what I mean? Like they're just a little bit down there. Maybe no light at the end of the tunnel kind of view. I think it's a common theme right now. Are you guys seeing the same thing or?
Good.
And go.
I am feeling the same thing. It's
Yeah.
for me, it's the feeling, not the seeing, because you know I'm an immigrant, and like I feel numb,
Yeah.
and so I am with everybody else that feels heavy. You know,
Sure.
with
Yeah.
this political landscape. You know, however, I also want to believe that due to how divided these ideologies may be, there's other people that are happy with what is going on.
Sure.
And so I think it's really difficult to just say, oh, you know, like I feel an overwhelm, I feel this numbness, then therefore, you know, things are going to tip to my side because
Right.
there's other people that are feeling, hey, we're happy because
happy,
this
yeah.
is right.
Finally doing something
Right.
about it, or
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
right,
And so
right.
I think for me as an immigrant, it's a reminder that hey, you don't belong here.
Right.
You know, because if there's maybe like even half or a little bit over half of the people that are not saying anything about it,
Right.
you know, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
hey, you know, other people are happy, you know, and so it's not really like,
Well, and I think we've talked about this many times. I think the really crappy part of it is a lot of people will, they're going to stick to their political side.
Yeah.
No matter how they feel about it, you know, and that's,
Totally.
I think that's shameful. I think that that's one of the biggest problems we have right now as a country is, are you red or are you blue?
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? And
Yeah.
I think that that's, guys, like we're supposed to have a political system with checks and balances, right?
Right.
far rights, far lefts. It's just gotten so extreme, you know.
It really has.
I mean, I can say personally for me, and I don't want to get into politics, but
Right.
there's good ideas on both sides.
Right.
You know, there's
Right.
things that I can
Right.
agree with on both sides, and there's
Yeah.
things that I do not understand on both sides.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's never going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just all maybe take an educated look at the situation, and I don't know, even
and
an educated
have
look,
more
though.
compassion. I think
Have
that
more
is one of the
compassion.
things
Yes.
that
Yes.
has been left out
Right.
or has been deteriorating for the last 30, 40, 50 years, right? It's just the compassion for human beings and their struggles and their
Yes.
needs.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and kind of talking about anxiety, it's interesting because like with anxiety, like there's generalized anxiety disorder. That's where you're just anxious about a lot of different things,
Yeah.
right? It's not one thing particular.
Sure.
But there are people that never had anxiety before, experienced it.
Right.
And now because of this, it has kind of opened that floodgate, right?
Right.
To all the other things that are now like, this might be happening.
Yes, and also I think, like, I respect, you know, like, you know, a country's sovereignty and how they have to like protect the borders and all that. And also, I'm not trying to be political.
Right.
you
Sure.
know,
It's hard not to be, but I completely understand what you're saying.
And, and also, I think there's also a way in which you can do that move of, okay, this person, you know, is not documented, for example, like what should be the method in which we can,
Right.
right? And then right now, I think what I'm hearing, and I don't know how true this is, what I'm hearing is it could be anybody as long as you have an accent, right?
I believe there's a pretty high percentage of legal people that.
Yeah.
are being scooped
It's
up.
it's racial profiling that has
Yes,
always
it's-
existed.
It is racial profiling, and so I think that I think that's what causing a chill, you know, like in most of us, like down our backs, like, oh my God, do I need to be carrying my, you know, U.S. passport
Right,
every
yeah,
time?
right, my papers, yeah.
No, it's true. Yeah.
You know, just to make sure that when I get pulled over, the first thing that they'll ask me, you know, is, and you know, for some of us with like, oh, your name and your accent, like, okay,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, it's like it gives you a way, right, you know, right there. So I think the method in which it's been done, I think that's what I have a problem with. Like it's very troubling, you know, to Dekel's point of where's the compassion, where's humanity in all this,
Sure.
right? Like,
Well, and I don't know for a fact, but I think that depending on who's in office is how we handle immigration.
right.
I mean, again, I don't know anything, but it seems to me that depending on who's in office it decides how we're going to let people come to this country, how long they can stay, whether they can vote, all the things. And then office changes and that changes, right? And it seems to be very extreme on either side.
Yeah.
I wonder, and I don't know if in other countries it is consistent.
Well, it's really interesting because Europe has always had an immigration issue in a sense. It's always been kind of, because we don't live there, we don't see it all the time.
Sure.
But, you know, there are a lot of Africans, right, that go to Europe.
Yes.
And so that is their, what's the word I'm looking for? Just like their issue that they're looking for, you know? So Spain, Portugal,
I was gonna say
UK.
Lily's boyfriend's parents are moving to Spain. They're having to jump through hoops. You
Oh,
know what
yeah.
I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
And is it consistent? I guess is the question, right? Like, are we like, hey, borders are open because Blue's got it right now, and then oh damn, it's locked down because
locked
of
down,
change.
yeah.
Like, can we at least agree
Yeah.
on that
Yeah.
issue across the
Yeah.
board so
Yeah.
everyone knows like this is the process, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know.
It's really sad because especially like in Minneapolis and pretty much all over the country, the people are afraid to leave their homes
Yeah.
for going food shopping, you know, getting gas, even going to work. There are some people that aren't going to work anymore because they are so afraid,
Oh, yeah.
Right.
you know, of getting picked up on the street and never heard from again in a sense. So definitely there are some clients that I'm working with that are immigrants and they are genuinely worried.
Sure.
They feel a little safer in Seattle.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, we
Right.
know ICE is here, but it's not as bad.
aggressive.
Blue
Yes,
zone.
exactly. But we're also waiting for like, well, we are a pretty blue state, you know, and Seattle is very progressive. So
Yeah.
kind of like waiting. for that.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that we haven't had any kind of a hammer down in this area, to be honest with you, because it seems like that's what's happening in other blue states.
Yeah.
Is it's just like we're putting a hard stance on this, and your local government's either going to comply or there's going to be issues.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but
I also think too, because Washington and California, we pay a lot in federal taxes.
Yes, we do.
That maybe they're a little
true.
like, Washington gives us a
That's
lot of money,
true.
so maybe
Man.
we'll kind of like wait, but it's.
I got to
just
do
never know.
taxes, man. I'm like,
I
no,
know.
no.
Taxes.
that thing,
Please,
right?
All right, so we touched on that. I didn't
Yes.
want to bring it up again, but those are
Yeah.
what the comments came
Yes.
through on,
Okay.
and it is a hot topic right now. This will probably get more comments
Oh,
when
yeah.
this one
Oh,
comes
yeah.
out as well.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But Dekel, you brought Mwiche with you. Am I
Yes.
saying that correctly?
Mwiche.
Mwiche.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
Mwiche.
yes.
I
you.
know you kind of wanted to get into kind of her backstory and everything, so I'm going to let you guys kind of take over.
Okay.
This will be nice. I usually have to run the show, so I'm just going to.
So yeah, so it's funny. I've known you since what? Is it 2019 or 2018? 2019 at Kent Youth and Family. I think it's 2019. 2018. It's one of those years. It's,
2010, yeah.
Oh my
I don't
gosh,
think
it
it
was
was
so
right
long.
before the pandemic. I
yeah,
don't think so.
yeah, it was. Yeah, because it was right before the pandemic.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, we met at Kent Youth and Family Services. So
Yeah.
tell us just a little about you, right? When did you come to the U.S.? Just kind of like, just kind of like your life in general. I know, putting you
Okay.
on the spot.
Yes, yes. No. Great question. I came to the United States in 2005. Can you imagine?
Oh wow.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, 2005. Like, so it's going to be 21 years in June 6th.
Congratulations.
That's when I came
Congratulations.
here.
Get another one of those.
Yeah.
I'm even going to throw in a couple.
And at the time, I lived with my sister in Minnesota. Speaking of
Oh, wow.
Minneapolis, right? I lived with my sister in Minnesota. She was going to school for nursing. And so I kind of like, I just, lived with her for a little bit. And my initial thing was I wanted to do social work.
Okay.
I wanted to do social work. And I'm like,
Can I stop real quick? I'm sorry.
Yes, yes.
What brought you to the U.S.?
oh, yeah. So what brought me to the United States was I was in a culture exchange program.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
Nice.
I was
Very
in a
nice.
culture exchange program, so it was like more like a J1 visa.
Okay.
It was common at the time.
Okay,
And one
those
of my
harder to get now?
aunties, one of my aunties was I think a coordinator
Okay.
of that, and so she recruited. And oh my gosh, I just graduated from university. I even missed my ceremony.
Oh, wow.
Because yes, so the ceremony was on June 10th. I had to leave June 5th.
Okay.
And I missed that.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Wow.
Because my dad was like, this is so important. Going to the United States is really, really important. Again, it's that belief that
Yeah.
for a better life. And hey, I don't blame him
Yeah.
because that's what, they believe it's for a better life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, let's go for a better life.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I got here and the struggles that I encountered,
Yeah.
just, struggles and rejection, first of all.
Okay.
Where you apply for a job, I literally had to start from the bottom because even if I had a degree in sociology
Yeah.
and developmental studies, they were like, University of Zambia, like, what is this? I had a bachelor's degree, like, what is this?
Oh,
Like, I had to start, I literally applied at the time.
Wow.
I'm not advertising, but
Yeah.
I don't even think they're around anymore.
I had to start from the bottom, and
Yeah.
it was
Wow.
it was a very trying time for me.
Did you want to go back?
Oh yeah,
Really?
oh yeah. Several times where I said, you know what, I don't think this is working for me, and I think it's transitioning, right?
Sure,
I
sure.
think when you're adjusting to something that is
Yeah.
new,
Yeah.
it takes, I
Yeah.
think with the DSM, it's it's usually 6 months, right?
Yeah.
When you're adjusting to something, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just not working for me. I'm a degree holder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do I work at? And
Yeah.
then after that, we moved. I applied to. I started working at, and I just encountered a lot of microaggression.
Really?
Oh yeah, a lot of microaggression. I think the town that my sister and her husband at the time lived in was very predominantly white.
Okay.
And so there was a lot of microaggression, and I didn't know at the time because
Right.
I was so
Right. Because that is.
naive.
Yeah.
I was so naive coming from an African country, thinking, oh, if I'm able to speak the language, like good English, and I was getting a lot of, you speak good English.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Better than some of the people I know.
At first I was like, thank you.
Thank you,
It
yeah.
took me years to realize, you
That
know,
was not a compliment.
Yeah.
at all.
That's the thing that drives me crazy when people are like, you're English. I'm like, well, you only speak one language.
Yeah.
So
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
give
yeah.
someone some grace that
Yeah.
speaks at
Yep.
least 2, sometimes
Yes.
3 and 4, but they're not fantastic at each one.
Yep.
You know, which we butcher our own language all
Yes.
the time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think my journey has been about resilient and about humility, where I had to like, you know what, forget the bachelor's degree, forget everything I ever knew and I ever worked for, and I was very involved in my in our university
Okay.
back then, and you know, just like
In the university in
in
Zambia.
Zambia, right. I was very involved, and I was always in the forefront, and then to be like, okay, hey.
You're now in the back.
You're now in the back.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
just kind of like you don't matter type of feeling. And
That's hard to know that you can offer more, but you're not being given the chance.
exactly. And to be able to take that and just sit with, and I wasn't okay with it,
Right.
but I think it humbled me.
Okay. Okay.
It humbled me in the sense that I'm like, okay, and reminded me that, hey, you don't belong here.
Right.
You know, one of
Right.
those reminders.
It's that reinforcing that.
Reinforcing, but also I was still resilient, and I'm like, you know, this is not where my journey ends. I know what I'm capable of, and so
Good for you.
thank you. I had a friend who lived here. She used to be a neighbor back home in Zambia. She lived in Seattle, and she was like, hey, there's more opportunities here in Seattle compared to Minnesota. Speaking of Washington, right? Like you guys kind of like alluded to in the beginning. There's more opportunities here in Seattle. Why don't you come?
Okay.
And so I left. I left Minnesota. I remember it was, I think, a day after Christmas in 2006,
Wow.
and I got on a Greyhound
Oh wow. Wow.
because I was broke.
That's a
yeah,
that's a long
that
ride.
is a
3
long
3
days.
days.
3 days in the
On a
winter.
bus. Oh man.
3 days in the winter. And my sister was, you know, like my sister also was going to school at the time. She had 2 younger kids. Her husband at the time was, I don't remember what branch in the military he was in, but sometimes would get deployed. And so like she was almost like a single mom.
Right.
And she didn't have a lot of money also, like to like, hey, let's put you on a plane.
No.
So I had to get on a Greyhound bus, and it took me 3 days to get to Seattle.
Perseverance,
And-
though.
Oh yeah. That perseverance and determination, and you know, it's funny you mentioned that, because I think my dad and my mom, those are the seeds that they planted in us.
Yeah.
For them to even say, hey, you're going to like. You can put a kid like, oh, you know, you're gonna get, you know, I want you to go get a good life, but what's also like in that person
You gotta have
that
the
is
drive.
going to
Yeah.
get them to attain
Yeah.
that good life.
Gotta have the
Because every
determination and
parent, I mean,
drive,
every
yeah.
parent has like, you know, like, yeah, that dream and vision and hopes for their kids.
Sure.
But also, you know, like the kid has to have that drive and motivation,
Oh,
like
yeah,
self-motivation, like, right, you know, like resilience in you know, in the face of adversity. And I feel like that's what my mom and my dad instilled in us, that determination and perseverance. And I'm like, you know what? My story just can't end here. So I arrived, let me see, I don't remember the day. Was it Friday or so? And the person that I was living with at the time, my roommate, she was like, hey, let's start looking for a job. And also, while I was in Minnesota, I did nurse's assistant.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, she was like, you know, look for a job, and I applied, and I got it right away.
Okay.
And for the first time,
You were
I
out.
I was out of. I
Yeah.
felt like somebody
Thank you.
accepts
Like,
me.
yes. Yeah,
Somebody
someone sees
recognizes
me.
me. Somebody
Yeah.
sees me. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. And that, not to be spiritual or anything, but you know, I believe I'm a very spiritual person.
Yes.
I felt like that was God sent. You know, like that person, like they needed somebody, and I showed up right on
then.
time.
Yeah.
Nice.
That family really loved me. Like I remember 6 months after, you know, like later, I got my own studio apartment,
Oh, wow.
and they helped me to furnish my
Oh
apartment.
wow.
Nice.
Yes.
Wow.
So there's a lot of hurdles, but also I see grace. I see God. I see like some things that were orchestrated. I'm not saying that they were not hard. It was hard, but also like I saw where, you know, like some people were kind of like sent right on time to like be, you know, this.
Almost like it was a sign saying,
Yeah,
keep
yeah,
going.
yeah,
keep
yeah,
going.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
going to be a little hard.
Yeah,
but, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And so, like, during that time, too, I mean, how did that impact your mental health? Like, what are
Oh,
the
my
things that you
gosh.
kind of went through?
Dekel, very, very great question. Depression.
Mm.
Depression was like the first. I could feel like, okay, you know, I could isolate, especially when I lived with my sister. When I came over here, it wasn't as much because I felt like, hey, you know, I'm able. But when I lived with my sister in Minnesota, I felt like this is it for me. I was depressed. I could isolate.
I think I'd be depressed in Minnesota.
Oh yeah, I would be calling my dad.
No offense, Minnesota.
I'll be calling my dad. Back then, when we had like calling cards,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
and I didn't
That's
even have
right.
money for a calling card. I had to depend on my sister, who also.
Yeah.
And so she would get me like maybe $2, or maybe we'd get like $5 call card, and
Yeah.
you know she would talk to my mom and dad, and also like, and I'd be like crying, like, Dad, Mom, I don't think I belong here. And then my dad again, like just very, my dad, bless his heart, like he is.
Give Dad one of these.
Oh yes, yes, absolutely. Like even to this day, that man is my anchor. Like every time I feel like I'm kind of like
Yeah.
like he'll be the one like, no, you know, like there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Nice.
You're gonna get through this. You're gonna make it. I don't even know where he gets that
Yeah.
hope and
Right,
that
yeah.
resilient, that, you know, like
Yeah.
he's always encouraging. And I think having that voice
Mm-hmm.
and that him holding my hand like across, you know,
Across
like
the
the
oceans,
globe,
yeah,
and
yeah,
across the-
yeah. Mm-hmm.
you know, like, and just his prayers too, and my mom's prayers. That was, you know, before my mom passed. Like it was just, those are things that really helped by my mental health. And at the time, I didn't even know about mental health because I'm coming
Okay.
from Zambia.
Okay,
Mind
okay,
you, like
yeah,
I'm coming
okay.
from Zambia. Like we don't know anything about mental health. Even if I did psychology, I only did it like first and second year.
Okay.
And I have a story behind that because my initial thing was I wanted to do I wanted to major in psychology.
Okay.
But what my people, my support system,
Mm-hmm.
you know, told me was like, you want to do psychology? Who's gonna give you a job?
Right. Right.
Because at the time we only had one mental health institution at the time, and it was only for people that would be admitted, like inpatient.
Okay. Wow. So,
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So
And-
severe.
So last time we were
yes.
talking, this is what you were talking about.
Mhm, yeah.
The
Yeah.
roadblocks with different cultures.
Yes.
and
Mhm.
mental
Yeah.
health.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it was an inpatient, and we more like, I don't know if that's quite a joke or like just the general understanding of mental health. Or you do something, you know, that looks close to mental health. Like, oh yeah, you're going to that hospital.
Oh wow.
I won't
Okay.
mention the name of the hospital, but
Okay,
that
yeah.
would be like you're going to that hospital. Then you know, or if somebody just kind of like you know goes crazy, maybe like just erratic, maybe
Mm-hmm. Right,
so to
right.
say, like they'll
A
be like
psychosis or something like that, yeah.
not even psychosis,
I'm
just kind of
just-
like erratic, like the the mood is like up
Okay.
and down. We're like, yep. They would call,
Manic, maybe.
they would name them the name of the hospital. They would
Oh,
nickname them
oh,
the
that
name
was
of
your
the
nickname.
hospital.
Oh,
That would be
wow.
the nickname of that person.
Got you.
Wow.
So
So was it
again-
like an actual like mental, like we used to have mental institutions here in the United States?
Yes,
Got you.
yeah, it's still there. It's functional, but that was the only place
Wow.
that you could possibly get a job. And I'm like, okay. So I felt I was demoralized. And I'm
Right.
like, okay, I'm just gonna do other things.
Yeah.
But I never stopped thinking, like, wondering, you know, why do people behave the way they do? I was always fascinated about that. I always wanted to work with people.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like, oh, you know, let's go in the office and, you know, write this report. Even if I do enjoy, you know, writing report, but after I interact with people,
Yeah. Yeah.
send me into the village,
Sure.
send me into the community, just
Yeah.
let me loose and let
and
me
just-
interact with the
Yeah.
people, let me be with them. Like, and then if you want me to write a report after that, I'll gladly write it. But it was like,
Well, I think
you
it
know.
says something that you still had a passion for, you know, this career that you're in now, even being raised in an area where that was your experience of mental health.
Totally,
you know?
totally. So, you know, like I think coming from that background, and then I come to the United States and I'm having all these signs and symptoms, I don't even know what they are.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is like, so when did you identify or know, like, I am depressed? Like, what?
Gosh.
Did you even call it
Did I-
depression?
No. It was after, I think maybe when I went to grad school, I think we had to write a paper about, it was, oh gosh, what was the name of that class?
You're like, this sounds familiar.
Yeah, it was about like self-diagnosis. I think it was about the DSM-4 at the time.
Okay, yeah.
And then our instructor at the time wanted us to diagnose and also write a story. And oh my God, I had a lot to write.
Oh, wow.
That was like the time. Go ahead, sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm the layman here. What's the DSM for?
Oh yeah.
You guys have said it a couple times.
So the DSM is basically the Bible for therapists and
Gotcha.
psychologists. That's where all of the diagnosis, the descriptions, the criteria that the clients have to meet in order for a diagnosis to happen.
All right. I'm in.
Okay.
But thank you.
I might do that every once in a
while. No worries. Yeah, and it was 4 at the time before we started the 5. Yeah, when I went to grad school, and so I had a lot to write. And then I think that's when it became apparent, and that was 2009.
Okay, wow.
And I'm like, oh my gosh.
4 years later.
Yeah.
Because I was just going through the motions. It was all about, and I mean, I can't speak for every African, but what I've observed, the trend has been when we get here, all we do is work. It's like, okay, everything, all the time that I've ever lost, and now it's time to like make money. And I know people that have they work around the clock, day shift, evening shift, night shift, literally just working. So very easy to just neglect yourself and to even know what is going on. And I feel like, because when I had that day job, my friends, my coworkers, like, oh, you need another job. And so I had to get another job. So I was working Monday through Thursday. And then so they were like, what are you doing on the weekend?
You should be working. Yeah, you should be working.
They guilt tripped me. So I had to find a night shift job.
Wow.
And I mean, I was alone at the time. So I'm like, why not? What am I doing?
Yeah.
I need my guys to listen to this podcast. You need to pay me more. You need to work more.
So for me to even pay attention to my mental health, I didn't have, and I didn't have time to pay attention to my mental health, let alone to know what was even going on until.
When did it catch up to you? When did something happen when you're like, oh, I need to have this looked at or something's going on?
Oh my gosh, that's a really great question. I think when I was just breaking down, where you can't sleep.
Yeah.
Where, you feel lonely. You feel like you can't even fit in.
Yeah.
And to make matters worse, I didn't even know how to access these services.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And who to even talk to about these things. Yeah. And everybody and I guess that's just the African culture. I experienced this when my mom died, when I'm just really in grief stricken. They're like, I'm sorry, but you have to be strong.
Right. Yep.
So it's yes, we recognize that, but, and so even if I talk to this person, they'll also talk about their story and hey, you have to suck it up.
Right, sucking it up. Yeah.
Just keep going.
Yeah, keep
so
pushing.
I didn't even had nobody.
Wow. So no support. And that's one of the things too. It's just when we meet with clients, the first thing I ask a client when they come in presenting with depression is, who are your supports? Who's in your corner, right? Who can you call in the middle of the night to say, I'm not doing well, and they can pick up? Because that is so important to have. So important.
And I think for me and probably my sister, I may get in trouble by this. This is right? Again, spirituality is really important.
I agree with you. I do.
And that's something that was our anchor. It hurts. I can talk to Dekel, for example. It hurts. I can talk to Joe, for example, because maybe they've heard too much of my stories. Hey, dude, right? And so, I just go to prayer.
Like this.
Yeah.
Are you snoring? I'm not done talking yet. No, I'm here.
I just go to prayer. I just go to prayer because I feel okay. And in a way, it is very therapeutic.
Yeah.
I found it therapeutic in the sense that I was releasing it.
Okay.
Even if the higher power or God wasn't like audibly speaking back to me, like I'm having a conversation with you, but I was releasing whatever I was carrying in here. And so it
Yes.
felt like
You felt lighter.
I
you
can
felt,
breathe, right?
yeah.
You know, I can breathe. You know, however, other times it felt like I need more. I need something in human form that would be
Right.
able to, like, you know what, you can get up today. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I hear you.
yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. That
didn't have that.
acknowledgement is also so
I didn't
important.
have that.
you
Oh,
know?
oh yeah. Oh man, it is so important. It is really that validation and
Mm-hmm.
acknowledgement is so important. And sometimes it's not necessarily like, even with our clients, like, you know, like they don't really want answers from
Right.
us,
Right.
right? Like
Yeah.
when they come to you know, to therapy, sometimes they just want somebody to listen to them and validate them
Yes.
and just acknowledge it and just say, hey, I see you.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
what you're going through, like that is hard,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and the is hope somewhere, you know, but
I have this weird
You know?
thing
Mm-hmm.
where
yeah,
I'm listening to you guys, and,
Yeah.
and this is going to be great for me. I'm going to learn a lot. But obviously I don't have experience of talking to other patients, or I have kids, and I try to do my best with them as well. But I think of myself during these times, and I think one of the biggest things that I have is I hit these moments, right, and then I tell myself, there's a lot of people out there that have it a lot worse than you do. You're fine. You're fine, buddy. Buck it up.
yeah,
Yeah.
And I move on. You know, is that a what is that? Is that a coping mechanism?
I mean,
Is
so
that-
yeah. I mean, we can say like it's that internal dialogue that you have told yourself to get through it, right?
I've been telling myself that since I was
Right, you know,
as long as I can
Right,
remember.
you know. And again, there are times where like it can like help and it can
Yes.
work in that moment,
yes,
Sure.
yes.
but you still feel something like you still need something else, right? You know, like
Well,
you still
And the reason I ask is because there's no validation in that.
right.
Because when I
Exactly.
hear you say to talk to someone and have them validate you,
Mm-hmm.
my head went, the shit that you would complain about doesn't need validation. You're being a sissy.
no, but yeah,
I mean, that's the way my head works. That's my head.
yeah. But you know, but the thing about it is your head has been fed society, what society says, right?
Yeah.
You grew up in a very rural area where you could not express sadness or anything. You couldn't be a sissy, a wussy, anything, right?
Right.
If you
There's
were
work to be done. Gotta
right,
keep going.
right?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like
yeah,
most boys played football and they didn't play football or sport, then you were gay, or then they were like
all
stigmatized,
those
right?
stereotypes and yeah.
So yeah, so definitely it's just like carrying all of that stuff that society tells you what you can and can't do. We have that internal dialogue.
Oh yeah.
Right. And
Yeah,
that internal dialogue is not great.
I have told my kids that so many times though. Like, is that a bad thing? When I tell my daughters, like, they're upset about, I mean, obviously not big things. We've had some big things in our life, you guys know.
Yeah.
But small things. And I'm like, girl, this is what you're complaining about?
Right. Yeah.
There's
yeah,
people out
yeah.
there that don't have anywhere to sleep tonight.
Yeah. I had a friend who moved to Mexico. He met this woman, got married there, moved there. And so he's American. And so I had just bought the house. And so I was talking to him. And he's like, oh, dude. And I'm like, oh, I was going to try to take a bath. I said, but I was trying to fill up my bathtub with hot water. And my tub is so big, it couldn't fill all the way up with hot water. He's like, oh, no. Oh, no, you couldn't fill your
poor
big bath. And I was like, oh. And I'm like, oh, my gosh. Am I one
Right?
of those people now? But again, it's just like
Unaware,
we are a product.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
a product of
Lack of
environment.
awareness.
And
I got we have 3 cars at our house. I got an issue with one right now that I gotta fix. And I'm like, oh my God. And it's like, some people don't have any
cars,
You know,
right, yeah,
don't
yeah,
have cars.
yeah.
I'm complaining because I got to check engine light on one. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah, no, yeah.
And I think is it either CBT or DBT where I think, when you are challenging your
CBT,
negative
yep.
self-talk,
Yep,
CBT, your
yep.
negative self-talk.
Okay.
You could say, it could get worse, but it's not, right? So like kind of like being grateful for what you have right now.
That's the way I always
because
kinda saw
it
it,
could
yeah.
get worse.
Yeah.
Right.
But that does not negate that, like you could also say that, you know what, it actually sucks. And 2 things can be true at once, right? Like it could get worse, but the situation also sucks.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
because I
yeah.
can feel it. And I think there's also a saying in my language that says, I'll say it in Bemba and then I'll translate it. Ich kalipa chumfo muine. So like only the person that's going through the pain can feel the pain.
Yes.
You can only relate to
Yes.
the pain,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you can't really feel
You
my
can feel it.
pain.
Yeah.
Right.
So for you to even like, it's difficult for you to feel my pain because you are not in my situation. You're not
Yes,
in my
yeah.
shoes. I guess empathy, right? Which we
Right,
kind of
yeah.
like emphasize on empathy. So I think maybe to kind of like
Yeah.
answer, like where you're coming from, like
That was like I said, that was just the way that I was raised.
Right,
Like
yeah.
it like you said, two things can be true at once.
Yeah.
It does suck, but it could be a hell of a lot worse.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right,
you know, so
you
we'll
know?
get through
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But to what you said, I've said this many times. I think you and I have talked about it. I got to look it up because I've referenced it several times. There was a book written by a man that was in, I don't know if it was Auschwitz. He was in one of the concentration camps. And the line that I read it years ago, but the line I took from it was, he was going around doing talks, doing speeches to people.
Okay.
And the thing that most people took away, I think the whole point of the book, I'd have to read it again, but it was never to discount someone's worst moment or worst experience.
Yes.
Because he was like, yeah, I went through hell.
yeah.
He's like, but that doesn't make my hell any worse than
Than
your
yours.
hell
Yeah.
because you're
Yeah.
experiencing it.
Totally.
You didn't experience what I'm experiencing.
Totally.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
I've tried to keep that in my head. When you hear somebody complaining about something and going on and you're like, that's nothing. It is something to them.
To them, exactly.
To
yeah.
them, it's a big deal.
And that's
you know?
what, like, in therapy, therapists, we hold space for that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
non-judgmental.
Exactly.
It is a safe space. So when people are complaining about their boss or this or anything that's going on in their life,
Yeah.
you active listening, right? But then you ask them a little bit more, like, okay, so like you're mad because your husband is doing this and your kids are crying, but then your maid called off work and you couldn't cook, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it's just like, so in that moment, like what else was going on? Like what were you thinking, right?
Yeah.
Helping them to
Yeah.
explore, to
Yeah.
help them understand, completely like this is how I'm feeling, this is the moment. In that moment, what can you do to help yourself? But I think a lot of times for new clients that come to therapy, they always say, I am really nervous about talking about my life to a stranger.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Yes,
it's
it
really hard.
is. It is, and it is a huge step for people to even reach out to mental health providers.
Yeah.
I usually, just praise clients that this is my first time doing therapy. I'm like, oh my gosh, what a brave move, because
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a brave move, and for them to even come to that place of, what, this has been going on a while, and I think it's time for me to seek out help and to actually follow through
Yeah.
and reach out and even schedule for an initial session. Like
Yeah.
that is
It's huge.
huge.
Yeah.
It is huge. And for me, I think I really, really prioritize authenticity.
Yeah.
Did you do therapy before you went into the profession? Were you a patient?
No.
No. Okay.
I didn't do patient. I didn't do therapy before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious.
Yeah. No. I didn't. But I did when was my first time that I went to therapy? I think it was during grad school before I
Okay.
graduated. Like that
Okay.
was my
You
first
experienced
time.
it. That was your first time
Yeah,
to see it.
So my motto of therapy is client person centered, where I just prioritize or emphasize the piece of authenticity and humanity, humanness, and to Dekel's point, it's a non-judgmental space. And I tell my clients, I'm like, hey, out there, and especially women, right? I'm like, we are judged.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if we're going to come in here
Yeah.
for that 1 hour
Yeah.
to keep judging ourselves
Yeah. Yeah.
when the whole world is judging us and
Yeah.
being just, putting us down,
I smiled when you said women because
Yeah.
my wife would be getting ready to go to dinner, right? And I'd be like, you look beautiful. You look fine. She's like, I don't get dressed for you. I get dressed for the other women out there. I always held that in my head, like, all right, fair enough.
man.
She's like, I know you love me. I got to compete with the other women.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And I have 3 daughters too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, women can be
Yeah.
judgmental
yeah.
to each other, to each other.
Yeah.
To each other. And so I'm like, okay, we're going to make this 1 hour like our time where we're celebrating ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so whatever you bring, and I tell them, because sometimes they'll be like, they'll curse and be like, they'll apologize. I'm like, nope. We here, like we don't have only two types of emotions, like sad and happy. Like we have a wide range.
Yep.
Whatever, if you want, because this is where everything that you can't say out there, like
Right. This is where you can say it.
you say it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's very healing. And I think once I put that out, I begin to earn their trust.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, you know what? Yep, we're coming next week again.
Yeah.
Oh, you won't believe what chance or they're like, come on, again.
No, that sounds great though. It sounds like you got some great
healing.
relationships.
Like
Yeah.
exactly, like, and it's healing. And so, yeah.
So what's it like being a woman of color, having your own business because you're an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Dekel, I don't even know how to answer that because,
I mean, you overcame a lot.
yes, thank you. And having that imposter syndrome,
Mm,
I think also when just how I started, because I'd started private practice in 2012, right out of grad school,
Okay.
because two of my colleagues who were, I don't know, they were older, so I think there could be a little bit of ageism when when it comes to like working for agencies.
Right.
Sure.
So no, I did my internship. I'm done. Like I'm not going to be working for kids, who are like the same age as my daughter.
Yes.
To be like, supervising me. Like, so they started and they could afford it because financially they were stable.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I can start maybe just one day, even 2 hours a day, like, while I hold a full-time job that has consistent. I also rented an office, but I never had any client. And I didn't put anything into it, like marketing and,
Okay, yeah.
I
Advertising and
because
stuff,
advertising, because
Didn't start any social medias like this
no.
guy?
My other job was very, very intense.
Oh, okay.
So fast forward 2019, I kind of like went back at it again. I'm like, okay, let's renew this and, returned all that. And then I got an office in 2020, right after, I think the first case of COVID was reported.
So around March or something, yeah.
Yeah, in Washington. And I went live, like on Psychology Today and all that, like everything, like,
man.
and people
Like it's
started,
happening and
right,
it's
and
not.
people started, like reaching out.
Okay.
That's good.
Dekel?
Okay. And it felt good.
No.
No?
No. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Anxiety is real.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
If I tell you that my body keyed up and it's locked to reply to that inquiry from a client,
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Oh, wow.
Really?
I was afraid. I
Like
think
an
it
imposter
took me
syndrome kind of thing?
exactly.
Yeah.
I think it took me back to, who
What-
can pay me?
Oh, okay.
Who's going to pay me? Who can even like find me like resourceful, like
Right.
like
Or credible.
or credible
yeah,
to be like
yeah.
to do these services. That email sat in my
Wow.
inbox.
No kidding.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And I kept getting inquiries, and I'm like, I called my older brother. I'm like, I have all these inquiries.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it was like now the pandemic, and so like there was great need for mental health.
Right.
Dekel. And my brother, God bless my older brother. He's a very spiritual person. He said, he quoted, some scripture in the Bible that I don't even remember, but it was a story about, I think during the time of, the Israelites when they were in famine, they were going through a drought.
Yeah.
And one of the guys, it was during that drought when he had a lot of profit. And he said, I know the pandemic is raging. You don't know what to do. And you're afraid to reach out. But I want you to reach out because it is during this trying time that your perseverance, your determination, and you're going to be tested and you're going to be known. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And after that, I got up. I'm like, okay, again, social support network,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Very important. Sometimes, I'd been in my career, like mental health, since 2000. 2009, and so fast forward to 2020. How many years is
About
that? Like,
11 years
and I
or
even
whatever.
did like I even worked at
Yeah.
KYFS,
Yeah.
and I'm like, and I even went to supervise. I even took that class for supervisors,
Mm-hmm.
right? And here I am. I'm like,
You're too scared. You're nervous.
I
Yeah.
was nervous to even like. I'm
But
like,
hindsight, I mean,
know-
getting your practice kicked off right before COVID. That
Yeah,
a lot of
that
people
is-
needed help during
yeah.
COVID,
exactly,
during the lockdown.
exactly. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to, like if it wasn't for my brother, just kind of like, hey,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can do
You
this,
can
you
do
can
this.
do this,
Wake
you
up.
can do this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
like, okay.
yeah.
I replied, oh my God, and fast forward, it hasn't stopped since then.
All right.
And so
Awesome,
it's like,
awesome. Yeah,
right, like
yeah.
that. Social support is very important,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it's okay and it is normal for us to be down on ourselves because we're gonna have those times and moments where like we self-doubt.
Yes.
We don't know it all, and we're like, okay, am I doing the right thing?
Yeah.
And sometimes we have imposter syndrome, not because you are not able to. It's just there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But sometimes you need people who know you.
Yes.
To say, hey,
You can
you
do
can
this.
do this.
You can do this.
You can
yeah.
do this. And for me, my champion was my older brother.
Nice.
And so like,
Yeah.
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 Family's important.
It
Friends
really
are
Very
is.
important,
Support
yeah.
systems are important.
It's so important. And
Yeah.
and one of the when I'm working with the client, so kind of an existential, aspect of it is I asked them, I'm like, okay, relational well-being. So relational well-being means not just a relationship that you have with yourself,
Yeah.
but then
Yeah.
branching out,
Oh,
right?
yes.
Who is
Oh,
closest
yes.
to you?
Oh, yes.
Then the next level, and the next level,
Oh,
and the
yes.
next level,
Oh,
and
yes.
nurturing that.
Oh, yes.
I have clients who are like, yeah, I have really good friends, but I want to see them a bit more, but I'm working a lot and I have kids or this or that, and
Right.
I feel like I'm not in their life as much as I should be.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, have you talked with your friend and asked them? Like, that's like, and they're like, I haven't. I'm like, well, why not? Well, I'm afraid of what they might say, and then it's creating false narratives,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
helping them get through
Yeah.
that. Like,
Yeah.
if they say you're a friend, they're your friend,
Exactly.
right? And it doesn't matter
exactly.
how much time passes by because they will be there for you.
Totally.
I like
totally.
those. I got those friends that the ones that you don't have to talk to for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you talk to them,
Like catching
no
up,
time.
like-
Yeah,
is
yeah,
missed.
I
yep,
know,
yep.
yeah,
You know, those are the best friends.
Oh yeah,
You know,
oh, yeah.
and it's
oh,
like,
yeah.
hey man, what you up to? Nothing, chilling.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, when's the last time we talked? I don't know.
Yeah.
They're like, you good? Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
All right, cool. The ones that are like, I haven't talked to you in like 6 months. I'm like, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I know,
I'm
like,
not-
Why
yes,
you calling
yeah.
me?
I'm not
Like,
that
why you
guy.
calling
I'm
me?
not
Like,
that guy.
everything
But you know
okay?
what though? But I think too there is a difference between male and female relationships and friendships, right? Because I think that for women, there is like this weird stigma that is put more on women to maintain.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And for guys, it's
Women
like
relationships seem to be, from my experience, a mom, a sister, 3 daughters, a wife.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. Women, do you have friends? Do you have girlfriends? Because it's like sometimes. But last week they were friends. This week they're not. Another month or so they might be friends again. That's just my perspective. I'm making. Like, oh, are we going to dinner with? We don't like them. Gotcha.
Yeah.
but that's the thing though. Like with a lot of, especially guys that are like cisgendered straight men, right? It's they say, "Oh yeah, my buddy," right? Think about it. You don't really say friend sometimes. You say buddy.
Yeah.
For most guys, it's buddy.
I've
Because
never
even
had
some-
a best friend.
right.
I've
You see
never
what I
said
mean?
that.
And even then, that's so sad to say because again, in that heteronormative world, a guy can't say, "Yeah, that's my best friend."
Yeah.
Right.
I had a guy say that to me once. Like, you're my best friend. I'm like,
You're like,
"Quit it."
what?
That was weird, dude.
That was
Don't
weird,
say that.
right? But like that's what is missing,
say that.
from like going back to like being true,
Yeah.
right? Because if that person is truly your best friend, then say it.
Yeah.
But society, stigma, guys can't say that,
yeah.
right? Oh, that's my buddy. Yeah, we're good buddies. My fishing buddy,
friend, like,
and
yeah,
my bowling buddy, and my like
golfing buddies,
my golfing
hunting
buddy,
buddies.
right?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. We can,
So look, listen. So if you're listening out there and you identify
That's
as
your
a
camera.
stress, right there. I don't know where I was
Talk to the
looking.
people, Dekel.
I'm like looking.
Talk to the people.
So if you identify as cisgendered male, and let's say straight,
Yeah.
and if you've known someone in your life for 10, 15, 20, 25 years, that's your best friend. Just say it. Call them.
But
Be
see,
like,
my thing is, I have a lot of friends. I don't want to rank one higher.
you don't
want to
rank. So you know what? So here's the thing.
Can
It's
I
funny.
have more than one best friend?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
There is not like the hierarchy,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but you can now I usually call with Beck and Melanie. It's like my besties.
Okay.
You know what I
There you
mean?
go.
So it's just like not like you're my best friend. You're my best friend. Like, it's like they're my besties. Like, you know, we ride or die, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
And so, but I think for guys, it is this going through life of not being able to say the word. That's my good friend.
Yeah.
Like, because buddy, it, even though I guess we're looking at synonyms and literary terms, whatever,
Sure.
it could be the same, but it doesn't feel the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna learn a lot in this place. I'm gonna learn a lot in this place.
Thanks for bringing that up.
But it's funny because like Issa's 9 years old and he has his best friend. He's like, Eli's my best friend, and I'm like, it's so nice. But there's going to be a point in time as he gets older.
Yes.
He can't say that word anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
And
That's funny.
that
I've
is
never
so
actually
sad.
thought about it, but
It's
yeah,
really sad.
You're right. Yeah.
Even think about it. 5 years old, 2 little boys. They can hold hands.
Oh,
it's
yes.
cute. It's
Yes.
adorable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
6 years old, maybe 7 years old, right? But then 8, 9, 10, all of a sudden can't do it because the first time they do it, they're gonna get made fun of.
Exactly.
You're gay.
Exactly.
You like each other.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
that is it's sad.
It is
really
very sad. And I think do you think it also goes for girls too, like holding hands, like they'll be, or it's
A little bit.
different? Okay.
I think it's a little different, but I have seen like straight women, they don't hold hands, but they can like interlock arms, you know what I mean, and be close to each other. And again, it's like that is the society says that's normal, that's fine, right?
Yeah.
But if two bros are just like, hey bro, it's just like, oh, what kind of bros are you? You know? But
You ever had a guy? Well, I'm the only cis
you know,
white
like-
male in the room, but I've had guys come up behind me. Hey, what's up, man? Give me a shoulder rub. I'm like, hey,
like,
I'm not sure what that was all. And I'm not phobic of anything.
but
You know what I mean?
like,
That was a little strange.
That was a little weird. That was a little weird.
Yeah.
But breaking down those stereotypes, breaking down the stigma, breaking down that idea that if I do this, then I'm going to be perceived as different.
Right.
Yes.
But let me ask again, coming from my perspective, is it okay if the dude coming up behind me grabs my shoulders and I don't feel quite right with it?
No, that is 100% fine, right? And again, and that's
Because honestly, nowadays, part of me is like, did I just do something wrong?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right?
Well, but
And
that's
is
also
this-
consent, right?
Right. And is this like a stranger, somebody
No,
you know?
I mean,
or
first of all, I've worked in construction for a very long time. Yeah. I mean, next to the military, it's probably one of the most homophobic that you can be in, right?
Yeah.
But it really goes both ways. Like you're either acting very gay towards someone,
Right.
or very anti-gay towards someone.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
through the entire industry. But it wouldn't be odd, or it has happened to me, where someone comes up and starts rubbing your back or something. And,
Yeah.
and to me, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Now it's funny because if that guy came up to you and punched you in the shoulder,
I'll be fine with it.
right. You know what I mean? So it's just
100%.
like, right?
That,
You
makes,
know?
that makes sense.
Yeah. and here's another thing that's really crazy and interesting, right? I remember in high school,
Yeah.
I played soccer, all this stuff, like, sports. It was appropriate for boys to depants other boys. Like, that was as funny. Ha, 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 right?
Dude, the locker rooms got wild.
Oh my God. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
But it's so, when I look at it now, I'm like, that wasn't good. Right?
But is there an alpha male dominance thing going on there, especially at that age?
Oh yeah.
Because
Definitely.
that happened in, with me as a child, as a young man in the
Yeah.
locker rooms playing sports.
Yep.
I mean, you bend over, you're getting humped.
Right.
You know
All
what I
the
mean?
things.
Like,
Yeah.
And you
yeah.
look to even the animal kingdom, and it's like, it's a dominance thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is, I don't want to say not right or weird, but it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Does that,
Yeah.
that make
No,
sense?
like your individual body, I mean, that is yours, right?
Right.
So if
Yeah,
someone
yeah,
comes up
yeah.
and then especially touches without your prior knowledge, your consent, you're going to be like, oh, but then if you turn and look and see someone that's closer, you're like, oh, okay, you know.
Right, right.
But even then, it is still, for a lot of guys, it's odd. It's an odd feeling because also too, growing up, was your dad very physically affectionate? Answer is usually no, right?
Right.
You know, it's just like, how old were you? I mean, do you remember like holding your dad's hand at like a young age?
I would have been very, very,
Very, very young, right?
Very
But then at a certain age, it stops,
yeah.
right? You know, like I said, Issa's 9 and he still holds my hand, and I do it. Like, I'm not going to be like, no, you're getting older, or that's weird.
Right.
Not going to do that.
Yeah.
But again, it's just like how we parent. It brings stuff from the past,
Oh
right?
my gosh.
Society, all that kind
a
of stuff.
lot.
How do we break that? How do we break that trend? How do we kind of sit with ourselves and be like, okay, I don't want to be this way or model this kind of behavior to my kiddo, but I'm also uncomfortable. Right. And again, one of the questions we talked about is like, why go to therapy or who should go to therapy?
Sure.
These are like the things that you can talk to with a therapist.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm a dad,
Yeah.
this, but my kid, it's really physically affectionate and I want to, but I don't know how.
Yeah.
Like it feels weird to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And helping
yeah.
through that journey.
Yeah.
I think as a father, you come in, you're thrown into this world of being a parent, right? You don't know anything about doing it.
Yep.
You can read all the books.
Oh, yeah.
You can do all the things. You can be a child care professional.
Hallelujah.
But when it comes to your own kids at your own home,
yes.
right?
Oh yeah.
So the one thing that I do like to tell people that are younger, I had my kids young. Well, Becca had Vit when she was 19, and I came into her life when she was 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had Lily when I was 24, Zoe 2 years later. I didn't know a damn thing.
Yeah.
I mean, do your best.
Yeah.
Do your best, be a good parent. Learn as you go. There's going to be a lot of learning curves.
Yeah.
But the only reason I say that is because you can go down a rabbit hole of, oh, I don't want to screw them up. I don't want to do this wrong. I've only got one shot.
Yes.
Do your best.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
look at you with your dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You are who you are because of your father.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that he didn't do everything right, but he did the majority.
Yes. Totally. That's really interesting that you're taking that angle. And again, let me just put it out there. Parenting is hard. They don't come with a manual.
Yep.
And every one of them is different.
Yeah. Right.
If there was a manual, you'd throw it out when you got the next one.
Like personal disclosure, like the way my son was born, like it was like that day I was supposed to be working that day. I scheduled my clients and everything. And so, but they wanted I got a call from the hospital, from the doctor, like, hey, we need to check your blood pressure, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, okay. I went and I'm like, I just carried my, hospital bag just in case.
Okay.
I went alone and they checked my blood pressure. We're like, nope, you are not going home.
Wow.
You are going to have your baby today.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And so, I mean, he came 2 weeks early. Even if he was going to be born, I wasn't even ready,
Yeah.
And I don't even know how prepared can you be?
How can
That's
yeah.
the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And so anyway, when I put it out there, parenting is hard. They don't come with manuals, and I think the African way of parenting is totally different from the American way of parenting because we respect our parents. Whatever your dad, your mom says, you can't even challenge that.
Right.
You don't roll your eyes
Yeah.
at dad and mom. It's just what they say goes.
Right.
And then
There's a different level of entitlement here.
Yeah. Seriously.
and then when I hear this from, clients, the wrong that their parents did, and I'm not saying they didn't do,
Right.
they'll be sharing their story and all that. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, that's messed up. And what's going through my head? I'm like, okay, is my son also 20 years from now going to say, my mom messed me up?
Right, yeah.
Because again, time changes.
Yeah.
We're living in the information age. It wasn't like this 20 years ago.
No.
What the resources that we had then, or parents had then,
It's so different now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dekel and I were talking about this on the last episode. You can take that a person. Let me think about this. You can put a person in the same situation, 2 different people in the same situation, and each of those people are going to come out of that upbringing differently.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Like Dekel said, you might grow up, being abused and being around drugs and parents in and out of jail, and one person might follow that path, whereas the other person might be like, I am never, ever going this route.
Yeah.
And that can go for any scenario.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, my upbringing, not picture perfect, but I credit everything that I have done and who I am today to my family, and my parents,
Yeah.
for the pros and the cons. I think there's a level of teaching our kids.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is instilling in them that ultimately they get to make the decision on their future. All we can do is show them what we got, give them the best that we got, and hope that we're pointing that ship in the right direction. So once we lose control, they got it.
They have it. Yeah.
Yep.
So you know what? Actually, that kind of brings me to a question for you. So tell everyone like your credentials in terms, because was last podcast we were talking about the different types of therapists. Like
Yes. Yeah.
I work, with individuals, adults. So talk about your degree and your certificate and everything, your license.
Yes, totally. So mine is licensed marriage and family therapy. So it would be LMFT.
Gotcha.
So what I do is I work with families, I work with individuals, I work with couples, married couples, or just, like unmarried, but cohabiting. And
So you got the whole gamut.
I do. And I enjoy that work. I enjoy the work. And I also work with, you can also work with youth and youth and families, right? Is that like?
Yeah. So when you are working, let's say with family, because I even though I do individual, I'll have clients coming in and just like, oh, my wife and I or my husband and I, we're not doing well, that kind of thing. So I work in terms of what their goals are, in terms of like effective communication and what's going on, and talk about like mind-body connection, and just all that. But from a your perspective, when you're working with couples, what are some of the challenges that you face?
Oh my gosh.
I know. That's putting you on the spot.
Well, it's all of that, like what you've mentioned. Communication is usually the big thing.
Between the two people.
Yes, communication and parenting. Different parenting
Oh,
styles. Huge.
We talked about that last time too.
Huge. Finances. How one person somebody's outlook on finances, maybe one is frugal, one is like
Right.
The spender, and also I think the interracial couples, like if you have an interracial couple, like what's your perspective on money? Are you thinking of, okay, let's put away like some money for our retirement, or the other person like, hey, my family brought me to the United States. They told me to come and to get a good life. I need to also like give back. And so like you're looking generations backwards, and also like trying to invest for the future generation and also for yourself.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, sex is a huge thing too.
I
Sexual
believe it.
intimacy.
Yeah.
Sexual intimacy. We just had a married event at the church, and we're given these cute cards. And what was there, where you had to rate from 1 to 10, emotional connection, communication, finances like money, and sex. So
Sex is always comfortable in church.
That is
and then I think the other piece too, like family, in-laws.
In-laws.
It's also like a huge piece.
Yeah, you're marrying
how
the
do
entire family.
Exactly. How do we incorporate in-laws and also boundaries? Like how do we incorporate our own boundaries? And like we love them, but also this is our home. This. How do we create that autonomy?
Right. Okay.
So yeah.
So let people listening, if your husband or your wife and you're driving down the road, listen to the podcast, when would you tell someone, hey, it's probably a good idea to find like a couples therapist? Like when should that hit like that threshold, I guess you can say?
I think that is dependent on the person. Like what is your threshold? Is this like, okay, I can't take this anymore because we've been disconnect for a long time, or because this it's been going on for like 3 months, so I can't.
Okay.
Let's just go get that help. So I think it's different for everybody.
Some people will wait a really long time.
I was gonna come to that. Although what I've experienced is people wait for a long time before they get that, before they seek out help. And I'm not saying that's wrong or right. Sometimes they want to dip into their own resilience, dip into their own strengths,
right,
and internal resources. And then when it comes to like, what, this I can't do it, and I think what is really surprising, or not really surprising, interesting, is the guys are always the ones that are late to recognize there have been problems in the marriage.
Oh, okay.
It's always, okay. And it's usually when the woman says, you know what, maybe we need to go see the lawyers.
And then that's when
then
the
it
trigger.
I
becomes
was
a
going
wake
to
up
say,
call.
yeah, sometimes you wait too long,
Then,
things get too far.
then
and
it becomes a wake up call. And you know, also with couples, date nights are really important.
Yes. Yes.
Date nights are really important. Like in my work, you know, I usually ask like, how did you guys meet?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like what do you guys do to reconnect or to connect?
Yeah. Yeah.
And 90% of the people of the time they say, you know, like let's just do date night.
Yeah.
Or we
Yeah.
haven't done date night in
In a
years.
long- Yeah. Yeah.
And I understand. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I got a question.
Yeah. Please.
And I'm going to ask for forgiveness before I ask this question. I heard a stat the other day that the most successful marriages percentage-wise without divorce are gay marriages. Second place is heterosexual. And last is lesbian couples.
Yeah.
Again, I am surrounded by women.
Yeah.
My wife was a very emotional person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Women, in my experience, are very emotional beings, which is great. We need that. I listened to my daughter create an argument in her head with her boyfriend who he was 2 hours away over something he might do. My question is, like, as a man, right? You said men are always the last to identify it, and women are emotional. And sometimes it's hard for men to read that
Yeah.
and especially assign a level of severity to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, she's mad. She'll get over it. This happened.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right,
Like,
right.
so I'm just saying, like, outside looking in as a man, it's like, how would a man know, right? When has it gotten too far? When is it not just,
Great question.
Yeah.
Great
You know what I
question.
mean?
Yes, I do. And I think in our communication, like between husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend, if it's coming from the lady or the girl, really important to be specific about what my needs are.
they should be
just-
vocalizing too. Yes.
Exactly.
Right.
Versus just because sometimes, I mean, I agree with you. Sometimes it kind of like, you know, just go on this like,
Sure.
and like,
Like, I
and
just
then when
did the
you go-
dishes. Great.
Yeah, right.
I
When you go
thought
back,
that was I shouldn't do the dishes.
when you go back, like, okay, what did I just say here? Like, there's really nothing. I was just kind of like, you know, just and it's because, you know, who knows, maybe they're frustrated or too much stress, and especially if there's like younger kids, like it's a lot to juggle. So
Right.
I think really important if you're a woman, a girl, like to be specific about what I need, and
Open
also
dialogue.
exactly, and also using I statements. I think sometimes we tend to blame the other person, and that it shuts them down. It shuts the man down. Like instead of like paying attention and listening to what is going on, they shut down. They can't hear because it's very accusatory. It's very blame, you know, centered, and you don't do this, you don't do the dishes, you don't help me with the kids, and maybe that is true. But the way we communicated to him,
Sure.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
and so the man might not even feel like, okay, like I mean, how am I even going to how am I support here? How do I support here? Like,
I
you
will
know?
say that Beck and I did couples therapy, and just for the people out there, it was great for us. I
Good
learned
for
a lot.
you. Good
I
for
learned a
you.
lot
Yeah.
about things that I didn't know that I was doing. Maybe not even doing wrong, but the way that they were being perceived or received by her
Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
thought it was. But she learned a lot as well. So
Right,
it was a
right,
great back
right,
and forth.
right.
But yes,
Yeah,
continue,
and also like when the other person's communicating or talking to the other person, like what are they hearing? Really important to like, you know, say, okay, so what I'm hearing you say is X, Y, and Z, so
Yeah.
that we're on the same page.
Clarification,
because-
check for understanding.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because it's especially when you're like, you know, this person's like, you know, like just kind of like, you know, like
in 1 year out the other kind of thing.
Well, they're
even
spiraling.
emotional, like they speaking
Oh, I see what you're
from
saying.
frustration. And
Yeah.
the other person, you know, the guy won't even be able to like,
Yeah.
they can't hear, they
No.
can't listen to what you're saying because, you know, like, it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
All too
right?
much at once. Yeah.
Exactly,
Overload, yeah.
exactly. And so, you know, like being specific and also like, okay, you know, is this what, you know, did I hear? Is this what I'm hearing? You know, like repeating what you said, and then the other person will be like, okay, yeah, this is what I said, or they'll say, no, that's not what I said. This, you know, this is what I said, so that at least you guys are on the same page.
Yeah.
You know, and then also I, you know, I think the pursuer distancer is very, very, you know, like really common, where like this cycle of the woman pursuing like, okay, I need, maybe it's affection. Oh, you don't spend time with me, you don't spend time with me, right? Like maybe instead of like being specific, they're nagging.
Right.
So that's going to push the guy away.
Right.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when the woman withdraws and said, okay, I'm going to be spending time with my girlfriends and all that, you'd be putting on makeup. And then now the guy be like, okay.
And now they're trying to come back in.
Trying
Yeah.
to reconnect. And
Yeah.
so like that
The
cycle,
dance.
right? Exactly. That dance, that cycle, very, very common.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'll say a few books that really helped us when we were going through our times was Prayers for My Husband, Prayers for My Wife. Those are great books. They're out there.
Yeah.
And then I think this one's super common, but The Love Languages.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
one
Love
I
yeah.
languages,
yeah.
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 That
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So another question for you along the couple side.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, since like marriage equality passed, right, have that, there are now a lot of, gay and lesbians that are getting married, right? So are you, and now even with that, there are a lot of poly relationships that are heterosexual and gay and lesbian. So
I'm sorry, what's a poly relationship?
okay, so poly is where you have, let's say you have your primary partner. So let's say you're married,
Polyamory.
right?
Right.
And whether you're gay or straight, doesn't matter. But within that relationship, you can bring someone in and both you date, or they can date other people, so they can set the terms, the boundaries in terms of that.
Yeah.
So, so have you seen or work with any couples, relationship, whatever, where it's like poly or, just kind of where they're kind of working through, like, what does that look like for them?
Yeah. Great question. So I have had a couple, they didn't come for couples counseling, they came for family counseling where both of them had other relationships and that worked for them. So we left that alone. And then I have one individual out of a divorce wanting to explore poly. And so that's not what we are focusing on, right? But that's what she is into now and she seems to like it. But I haven't had maybe couples that have come to say, okay, this is what's going on. This person has other relationships, or is it throuple?
Yeah.
I was going to say that, but I didn't know if that was
Yeah,
like
you can say throuple. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
like that.
Yeah.
Is that a
Yeah,
bad?
yeah,
No.
Okay.
It's
Gotcha.
okay.
I haven't had that experience.
Yeah.
I haven't had that experience, but I'm open to it.
Okay.
You know,
I'm
the
open
thing
to
that
it.
I never understand is the guys that have multiple women. I could barely keep up with one. Like, I don't understand the
who has like
girls
2,
on
3,
the
4.
sides.
Yeah,
and
that's a lot.
Go ahead.
But I remember I worked. I was working at Kenyon Family Services.
Yeah.
I was working one of the schools, and there was someone working at the office, and we were just chatting, and I kind of like disclosed, my husband and I, and so there was like this weird shift in her eyes, and she kind of got like brighter, like. Oh, okay, maybe she has a gay brother or something like that.
Yeah.
So about a couple weeks afterwards, we were just talking, and it was right around the holiday season. And she said, "Oh yeah," she's like, "My husband and partner were going to go here," and I was like, "Oh, very cool." And I could tell because I disclosed and came out that I was gay. She felt comfortable.
She felt comfortable
to like say, and so it was like another after we come back, and I said, "Hey," I go, "I just want to acknowledge that." And I'm like, "Thank you. I knew that was really tough." And she's like, "It was." She's like, "But because you said you were gay," she's like, "I was hoping that you'd be open." and we're talking to her about it. And this was some years ago, but there was a struggle because she's like, my other straight friends don't know because they will cast judgment because in most heterosexual relationships, that's it.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
There is no dating other people or bringing or being a throuple, right? It's so there's the stigma on it, and so there are a lot of couple or throuples out there, but they also don't feel like they have a place to go when they're having issues, So individuals like Mwiche, they can work with you,
Totally. Like, come on. Just
Come on. Bring it on. Well, where can everyone? We're at an hour and 20.
Oh wow! It's an hour and 20.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. No, it flies. It flies.
Jeez.
Always, we can have you back and continue this. I mean, this is pretty much Dekel's segment. So whatever he wants to do. But I do want to make sure that we get all your information out there. So where can everyone find you? Are you taking clients?
Right now, I am full.
You're full.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
All that. So they're only going to get you right. This is the only place. That you can get.
I was open through the whole, I think through November, December, and a little bit of January, and then I
Just-
opened my calendar app, and it was like,
Boom.
yeah,
Full.
yeah. But like you can find me on Psychology Today. Send me an email, and we can see what we can do. Mwiche Lupambo, Psychology Today. That's where I'm found. I practice out of CTAC.
Cool.
Yeah, and I only do virtual. I don't do in person. And not with couples. Like they've been, like I think their interest is more like, they're wanting in person, and I'm
person,
like,
yeah.
well, I'm only doing virtual, and others that
kind of the
really,
new-
really,
Yeah, it's the new way though.
that really want to, just to get help. Like they're like, yeah, we'll go with that.
We'll do
And
that,
and I give them the opportunity. I'm like, hey, come meet me. Let's talk about it. If you don't feel like we're a great fit, you guys are welcome to. I mean, you're welcome to go down the street to find somebody who is in person. And I think too, like, it's just really hard to find providers these days.
Yeah.
I'm
That
not saying
is
that they're
true.
settling. I'm not saying that
Yes.
they're settling. It's just that the need is so great out
It
there.
is. Well, we went through it recently with my daughters and stuff, with everything we've been through, and man, it is.
It really does.
I think I even talked to you about it. Where to look, Dekel as well.
Mm.
But they both found people, but then you got to try the fit.
Exactly.
and-
It has to fit. Yeah. It has
So-
to fit.
Let me ask you this real quick. One of my daughter's therapists that she was talking to upset her because this is like very soon after Becca passed away. And one of the first questions that the therapist asked my daughter is, well, how soon do you think until your dad dates or gets remarried?
Oh.
I thought that was a little bit of an odd question. And then she proceeded to open up to my daughter about her husband's masturbation issue.
Oh. Yeah.
So, you know what? I'm not putting a name out there, so
Right,
I'm going
yeah,
to put this
yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that, and I told Lily, I'm like, maybe it's a strategy to get to know, like to be a friend to you.
So there is.
Was that out of line, or was
so
that
there is so with therapists we can disclose, and disclosing means that sharing a little bit of personal information, but that should always be in the benefit of the therapy,
client,
of the client,
yeah.
always.
So you
right?
would say that maybe in that situation it was not the best choice. I know it turned my daughter off of working with her.
I mean, I would
Them.
just say this.
Maybe it was a male. We don't know.
If you are seeing someone, and if you're just uncomfortable, I would also say bring it up with the therapist. Like
Yeah,
say that,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey, you
Be
know,
honest
last
with them about
session
it.
you said
yes.
this and this and this, and
Yes.
I did not like that.
Yes.
Because you also have to like work on your own boundaries as well, right? And hopefully it can work out. But as a client, you have to say something. You have to say something.
That's
And
good
if-
information.
Yeah,
That's
so
really good
always.
information.
And if you don't, then just say, hey, you know, it's really nice the time we had, but I want to go find someone else.
When I go, yeah.
I think Lily just ghosted her. I think
Well,
she
Yeah.
stopped.
and I think that's really common too, like where you just kind of like, because of the power differential. And I
Yes.
totally agree with Dekel, where, you know, like personal disclosure has to be in the best interest of the client, not necessarily like, let's talk, because
Yeah.
that's not your therapy session.
Maybe in a way that you can relate to something they're saying.
Right.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
but
and
not
to
just like-
normalize.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
normalize what
exactly.
you, right. To normalize what you know, like, oh yeah. Also, you know, like this is what happened and yada yada yada. You know, but I think there's a power differential too, especially if it is just in the early stages,
Yes.
right? Like
yeah.
there's no rapport. It's different when there's been
Like
you
a
know,
year and a half,
exactly, like,
right?
Yeah, Lily
Yeah.
was talking
Yeah.
to this person for a couple months, to
Yeah.
maybe max, you know? So,
Yeah.
and once
Yeah.
a week,
Yeah.
you know, so you're talking
Yeah.
about several, you know,
Yeah.
conversations.
I know time is running short, but for
We have
clients,
time. I just
okay.
want to let you know where we're at.
So,
This means more editing on my end.
so all therapists, psychologists, we follow
Code of
ethics,
ethics.
code of
Yeah.
ethics. So anyone can go to APA, I think it's APA.com,
Yes.
and look on the code of ethics, and it outlines
Okay.
what we have to follow.
Gotcha.
So if you're seeing a therapist and you feel weird inside because they said something and you're not sure, just go to that. It's accessible to anyone.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But there are times where if a client does feel uncomfortable, you have to say something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say something.
Well, and hopefully you're educating the therapist or the provider as well, so they don't do the same thing with
Yeah,
the next.
yeah, exactly. Especially with like newer therapists, sometimes it can happen because they want to like, I really want to have a good therapeutic bond, and they might
Overstep a little bit.
Yeah. So hopefully they have a good
Really opened
supervisor.
up and it didn't go well.
Yeah.
so,
Awesome. Dekel, put your stuff out there one more time too.
Okay, yes. Positive Awakenings. My email address is positiveawakeningspllc@gmail.com. I have my website, Positive Awakenings, and now
And we have growth at
growth
growth
dot
dot-
Positive Awakenings for Instagram.
Yes. All
And
right,
TikTok
guys.
soon to be.
And you are soon to be TikTok. And you are taking clients,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Okay. Still taking clients. Mwiche, I think there's a ton here. I think that I'd like to have you back, but
Yeah, yeah.
that's up to Dekel. We kind of
Totally.
letting him steer this
Yes,
ship, like
yes,
I said.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And it's great because you
Yeah.
got to figure it out. I'm just going to show up.
We're using your space,
Yeah.
right? Like,
No, this is great. Like I said, I mean, we did the first interview with Dekel. I thought it was really good stuff to put out there. I enjoy these conversations. I learn a lot, and I hope that other people do as well. And I think that you guys watching should reach out, comment, and we'll put them out there. We got a whole song for the comment section.
I know
now,
the
so-
song. I want to hear the song again.
I saw.
I'm gonna play your song when we close out. But, all right, Mwiche, thank you, Dekel. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yay.
Sometimes life can be tough. Deals you a hand read, not ready for. It's gonna be rough. Everyone needs a helping hand, a voice to listen.